What's going on, everybody? Chris from Out West with Chris, and today I wanted to chat with you guys about Go Prep 2.0 and Go Prep 2.1. As you guys are probably aware, or you might not be, I am in a partnership with a friend of mine, and we're putting out just not really survival kits per se. We have some kits, but what we're doing is a series of gear boxes. So we ship out some gear boxes to you guys. You guys save a little bit of money if it's something you want. It's not a subscription service. You know what's in the box before you buy it, so you can decide if it's worth the money. So with me today is my buddy Eric.
How you doing?
Eric is a friend of mine from the BattleBox forums. Eric has a background, he was a firefighter in the Air Force.
EMT as well.
Firefighter and EMT in the Air Force. He is currently volunteers with a search and rescue up in the county he lives in with the Sheriff's Department up there, and has a vast amount of experience and knowledge as a backpacker, survivalist, that type of stuff. Man, just a general outdoorsman. Correct. So let's take a look at Go Prep 2.0, and there are kind of 3 items in this little kit. First up, we have this. This probably looks familiar to you.
Yeah, we got that in the initial battle box.
In the first battle box, yeah. So this is the FM 2176 field manual. It's a survival from the Department of the Army, and these have a ton of good solid information in them. Lots of stuff from navigation to, procuring food.
Outdoor edibles, yeah. Stuff
outdoor
like
edibles, building a shelter.
Yep.
All sorts of stuff. It's a good read, actually, too. I've sat down and perused it a few times, but I have read straight through it. Next up, we're throwing in a knife, and this is the MoraKniv 511.
I actually have one of these, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Mora makes a bad knife. They don't.
Not really.
No, I think everything they make is serves a purpose, and having a knife, regardless of what it is handy.
Right, and these are a carbon blade. Really cool, good, solid knife. The last item in the Go Prep 2.0 is actually one of our items at Go Prepared Survival, and it's our Go F.A.S.T Emergency Kit. And this thing is chock full of different gear. So I'm just gonna kind of lay it out and go over some of it really quickly. There is a cool water purification system that's in here, and it is basically a 4-part system. You see a straw, you see this is Chlorflock, a filter, a water bag, and actually this gets used as well. And basically what you do is you fill this up with your dirty water. Okay, if you're in a survival situation, go get water from back here. Okay, bring this to where you have this stuff. In your dirty water, you pour a packet of this Chlorflock. You shake it up or stir it, agitate it for about a minute. You let it set for 3 minutes. You swirl, after the 3 minutes, you swirl it again for about 30 seconds, and then you leave it for another 7 minutes. After that 7 minutes is up, you take this bag with your purified water, and you use the filter here, go like this in your water bag, and you pour this into here. And what happens is this Chlorflock, it's a chemical purifier. So what it does is it bonds with the bad stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the bad stuff will rise kind of and create like a film. And what you're doing with the filter is you're actually catching all the bad stuff.
Skimming off the film. Yeah.
You're skimming off the film. And the purified water goes through.
Sweet.
A lot different than a chlorine tablet in that it's quicker.
The chlorine tabs, well, there's a couple different variations, but most of them are 30 minutes or more.
You should be able to get the water and get this whole process going and have drinkable water in 15 minutes. So kind of a little bit of an upgrade. We throw the straw in because you can essentially dip the straw down, zip this shut, and have a drinking container from then on out. So pretty interesting. And this is not a survival kit. I need to clarify that. It's an emergency kit.
I've never seen that before. That's really cool.
Okay.
And like you were saying, you have your main source of purifying water, but if you needed something to do really quickly to get you to the next step,
Yeah.
you use that. You take that next step and maybe get out of a situation
Right.
where you don't need to purify water for a while or whatever.
Right.
So it just gets you beyond where you are to the next step.
Okay, so next up, we have this little goodie bag, and we got a few different things in here. This is actually a pretty good wire saw. It's made in the USA. By the way, everything that's in this kit is USA made or assembled, and we have one thing that's assembled in the USA. So we have a made in the USA wire saw, and this wire saw is actually really good. I've used some shitty wire saws and broken them, but this one's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's got steel connectors here where I've seen some of them are, I'm sorry, it's aluminum. But it looks like it's got a better connector there than the one that I have.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy duty. I've used it several times. Pretty happy with it.
Nice and stiff. Yeah, that's good.
Then we have some brass wire, made in the USA. And you could use brass wire for snares. You can use it as cordage if you didn't have any other cordage. A couple different uses for brass wire. We have some Kevlar thread, and we have a needle as well, a large needle. And the Kevlar thread is pretty cool because it has a high heat tolerance, high abrasion resistance, but it's really good for fixing like heavy duty fabrics like canvases, if you have like Carhartt pants or a canvas tent,
right?
That type of thing. If you have fire gear, this is what you would use.
Yeah, that's actually required.
Required,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Not that in a survival situation you're going to have fire gear. It's really heavy duty stuff, and you could actually use this as a fishing line. Now, you wouldn't tie your hook straight to it. You could potentially, but maybe tie a leader onto it if you needed a little bit more line to get further out to try to catch some fish. So in a bind, you could use it as fishing line as well. The last item in this little baggie is this DermaSafe knife, and it is just a razor blade knife, made in the USA. You could gut a fish with this. You could skin potentially like a squirrel, gut a squirrel. So processing small game, cutting small cordage. You're not going to do a lot of bushcraft stuff with this knife. But you could probably feather stick with it.
Yeah, there's some scraping things you could do with it for sure.
Yeah, so good backup knife. You get 25 feet of utility cord. This is military issue utility cord. Milsea 5040 type A. Whatever that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, so it's just a utility cord. It's not really a paracord or anything like that, but good for lashing, good for cordage.
You could bank line with that too.
Could bank line with it. It's just not a sealed,
right.
But not
but
a big
again,
deal.
that one time use, you need to get to the next step. That'll get you to the next step.
Exactly. We do have a small fishing kit here, variety of hooks, sinkers, one little lure that's like a grub lure on a jig head, some line that's spooled, and that's about it. And this is assembled in the United States. The reason why there's only one little lure in here is because if you're in an emergency situation or even a survival situation, most likely you're going to be looking on the ground for insects or, trying to find a grub or a worm, because that natural food is all for fish is all around us. So you don't really need a ton of lures. You just don't. You just use what's around you. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Every good kit should have some duct tape.
Yeah. So a little bit of duct tape. Some military energy gum. Have you ever seen this before?
Yeah, there are some MREs that used to have that, but I don't think they do it anymore.
Okay, so it's a caffeine gum essentially. So if you're trying to stay awake for an extra hour, it's dark out and you're trying to hike back to a main road or something like that, and you're exhausted, a little bit of caffeine gum to give you a little bit of a boost. So kind of a welcome addition. You get some beeswax candles, and these are little tiny candles, but they are beeswax and they will give you a little bit of light. So
they're probably 20 minutes or so burn.
At least, yeah, I would
big?
say. And then a little Oochie Owie Boo Boo kit. Nothing major in here, but a nice little welcome addition. There's some sunscreen, which we could have used that today.
Yes.
A couple of Band-Aids, a butterfly bandage, some wipes, and that type of stuff. And then the last item that's in the kit is this little fire starter aviation survival fire kit. It has a number of these small little tinder tabs, and if you don't know what a tinder tab is, you know, you're missing out. These are great to help get a fire going. And then it comes with a wheel striker. These are actually pretty good. Now they don't put off a huge amount of sparks like a ferro rod, but they put off enough to spark that, and they're reliable. So sparks
2 or 3 times more than what a Zippo gives you.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah. And that's essentially the technology.
Yeah, it's the same design. Yeah,
yeah,
just on a slightly larger scale.
A flint wheel, right? Is that
Yep.
what it was to be called? Yeah, flint wheel. So definitely can spark a couple fires with it. That accumulation of stuff is the Go F.A.S.T Emergency Kit. It's not a survival kit, but it is an emergency kit. Good to have if you are ever in an emergency. Something to stick in, you know, your kids is, you know, train them on stuff, but maybe if you have grown kids and they have a car, stick this in their car. One of these can go in a bug out bag to supplement a day bag.
Day pack for sure.
Day pack because it's so small.
Yep.
All of this stuff, the Go F.A.S.T Emergency Kit, plus the knife and the survival manual, we're offering that for $50. So $49.99 plus $4.99 shipping. So this kit right here has an MSRP that we have of $49.99. So Go Prep 2.1 is $100. It includes these 2 items right here and our Sparta Emergency Kit. Now the Sparta Emergency Kit includes the Go F.A.S.T Emergency Kit. It's part of it. So you get this as well, but you don't get 2. You only get 1. Part of the Sparta Emergency Kit is this Go Bag. And this bag right here is a 1000 denier Codura. It's made in the USA, and it's got a shoulder strap. This is the type of bag that I think would be perfect to put in a vehicle. You could put all sorts of stuff in it, like straps. You could put emergency kits, first aid kit. You could put a little bit of food rations.
Yeah, some food bars and stuff like that. I like carrying bungee cords because they're pretty utilitarian. You can use them for all kinds of things.
Yeah, bungee cords, all sorts of stuff. Put it in your car. If you needed to, if you got into a wreck, you'd have your stuff, or for some reason, if you just needed to get the hell away from your car, you could grab this and have some emergency supplies. With all of this stuff and the bag, you also get 50 feet of 550 cord from Elite First Aid. You also get the real space blanket, and this is the made in the USA version, so it's a little bit thicker. One side is the shiny side, I guess you'd say, and then one side is OD green, and they're just really high quality thermal blankets. So it's not the one, you know, you can get them for pretty cheap from, you know, China, and they rip really easy.
Yeah,
some of those
you take
ones.
them out of the bag and sometimes they're already starting
to fray off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a little bit higher quality. You also get the Exotac Fire sleeve. This is made in America. You basically put a big lighter on the inside of it, and it keeps it waterproof and usable. In a survival situation, having a ferro rod and a striker is nice, but having a lighter is even nicer. Why not?
A lot easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to start a fire with a lighter. And yeah, if you can keep your lighter dry, which the Exotac Fire sleeve will do, you know, it'll save your butt in an emergency situation. You also get this small keychain flashlight, and this was one of the original keychain flashlights. This is the Photon Freedom Micro X. These are great little keychain lights, handy to have. Great backup light to have in an emergency kit. And the last item that you get a Frontier straw. This is an AquaMira Frontier straw. So these are pretty handy. So these will remove a lot of parasites, cysts, that type of stuff that are commonly in your waterways. So if you have water that is, you know, filled with heavy metals and stuff like that, this probably isn't going to filter all of that out. But getting a little heavy metal intake is probably better than dying of thirst. So this will get you that next step.
Short term versus long term.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that. That's pretty much it. That all of this stuff right here, you get for $100 free shipping in the Go Prep 2.1. What do you think about it?
I like it. I actually like, personally, I like this as a kit all on its own. I mean, this stands on its own really well. Compact, easy to throw. Like I said, in a day pack. If you don't have something like this, plus a little bit more gear,
right?
You're just
asking for trouble. Yeah. As a search and rescue guy, how many people do you hear or see get rescued that go into the forest without just the bare necessities?
80%.
Yeah.
80% of the
and
people
they get in trouble.
Will walk off the trail or into the trees, and they don't even have this one item, which everybody should have, a lighter in their pocket.
Right.
And they don't even have that. So yeah, it's I mean, just this right here alone is worth whatever you want to pay for it. If like I said, if we get you that next step to save your life that one time.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I like the whole kit. This bag is great. I really like the bag. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
Cool. All right. Well, you didn't just hear it from me. You heard it from a guy who was an EMT and a firefighter in the Air Force for
search and rescue that rescues people that don't have
this stuff,
anything in them. So
right.
Yeah, I mean anything you can carry on you that's gonna get you beyond.
I mean, just with the space blanket and the cordage that was in there, you could make a temporary structure. You could definitely make a fire with that fire kit.
Yep.
It's
going to get you through that rough night.
Do processing with this. Wood processing.
That's a great knife.
Great knife, the 511. All that stuff, and then also the fact that there's a book in here that you can learn how to use this gear. If there ever was an emergency, you could have a base knowledge to fall back on. Is, in my opinion, critical. So you can have all the gear in the world, this and way more, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to help you much.
Very much so.
Okay. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us. We're going to hang out here, chat a little bit longer, and then we're both hitting the road. Our camp is busted, and we got to go to work tomorrow, which sucks, but we got to pay the bills. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about the kit, let me know in the comment section down below, or send me a private message if you feel better doing that. Give this a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please take a look around and subscribe. And as always, thanks for getting out west with Chris and Eric. That's a big one.